button here. Welcome to the County Board of Commissioners work session today on regarding the body and video camera watch guard system. So let's get started. Y'all gonna do a presentation first, or is
I'm just gonna walk you through it.
you gonna walk slow?
I'm gonna walk slow.
You can come sit up here at the table, the microphones.
Now, you can probably hear me fine.
Well, those seats have electrodes in them. You know, we can see what you're doing.
Before I walk you through this real slow, would like to say, get a chance, go over to the courthouse, check out the camera system that was put in. It's pretty sharp. It's vast improvement.
If you don't mind, I prefer staying out of the courthouse. As a
Understand?
visitor, I was there yesterday and as a visitor, but that's one of the two places I try to stay out of at all times, all reasons, across the street in both directions. But I will pop in there and look at it.
Yeah, they're very pleased with them.
Look good.
Lieutenant Fed gave everybody a watch guard upgrade, additional body camera. It's just kind of the highlights. And probably the best way to explain this, we went with body cameras. We did a pilot in 2015, I believe with 2 with watch guard. If you remember, that's when all the billboards went up around the county.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this goes back to 2015. Pilot was
That's when we
successful.
went into the cool club. We got body cameras too.
Yes, got the body cameras. The initial purchase of 35 was made in January of 2016. One of these cameras from the pilot in 2015 is still in use because that's the one in Lieutenant Fed's patrol car.
Is it what?
It's still in use, camera from 2015. So we've got a good life expectancy out of most of these cameras
What is the life expectancy of them?
till they break.
Well, that's not,
I mean,
you're not telling me 7 years ago, 7 years is exceptional, is it normal, or is it?
I'd say that's probably pretty exceptional. When you think what these cameras go through, being worn on a shirt,
Again, I'm trying to find that out, not. But what would be a normal lifespan under normal service?
I would think 3 years, 3 to 4 years.
The cost of those, that's mighty low, isn't it?
That's just kind of what I'm thinking you're gonna see. Let me move ahead with this.
I'm just, that's just, you have to understand, you understand it also, if you don't mind as we go, in my feeble mind,
Well,
I'll
that's-
stop you and ask the question and you can kind of clarify. 'Cause
That's why I brought Lieutenant. I don't wear a body camera, so what would you say life expectancy?
In the rugged area of how we do our job, I would say maybe 3 to 4 years at tops. Just get in and out, the weather conditions, I would say you're not gonna get a full 10 years out of the bike. You're not. Not if we get into a tussle, weather conditions, everyday type of interactions, it's gonna drop. I'll say 3 to 4 years is what you brought.
And that initial purchase was for what?
The initial purchase was for 35 body cameras. Since then, we've just 12 more. So we've got a total of 47 body cameras. Out of those 47, we have 28 that are assigned to deputies right now. They're out in the field. We have 16 that are broken. So they're not being used.
Which 16 would those be? Of the initial?
The majority of those would have to be from the initial because we've only just 12 additional after the 35.
I understand, I'm just saying, but we don't know, in other words, really.
And I can't give you a definitive answer on that.
No, it is what it is. I just didn't know if y'all knew which ones it were. Because you just made a comment that the one that was bought 15 was still in service. So I was just trying to see, is that the only survivor? But obviously not.
Right, there's a few more survivors from that original
would say there's at least, 16 or so of them.
I would say some deputies probably take better care of their equipment than others, just like some of us take better care of our vehicles or our lawnmowers or whatever. But we've got 28 assigned, we've got 16 that are broken, we've got 2 spares, and the GBI has one of ours that was from the shooting on 17.
We'll never see it again, so that's okay.
And probably if we do see it again, it will be so obsolete at that point
I
that
understand.
repair replacement of these Vista body cameras, if they have to replace it, it gets replaced with a refurbished unit.
Now, you say Vista, but these are Motorola's.
These are WatchGuard. These were bought prior to Motorola.
Everybody bought WatchGuard.
Yeah, Motorola bought WatchGuard.
Right.
These initial purchases were before that happened.
So WatchGuard doesn't make them anymore, in other words. Are they making them under Motorola?
Correct.
So now they're proprietary to Motorola.
Body camera is a body camera. Certain features are proprietary, but that body camera is going to record.
I grant you, I was referring to predominantly the proprietary features would be software, wouldn't it?
Yes, in all body cameras are going to have pretty much proprietary software.
Yeah, I mean, body cameras is recording.
Right.
You know,
You're looking at 6 months minimum to get one of these Vistas replaced, repaired.
whatever.
I cannot get a definitive end of life on the Vista body camera. I talked with the rep today. They're not pushing them, they're phasing them out. But he wouldn't say 2025, they're no longer available. But you can't hardly get them now. The new M300 body camera, the turnaround time's a lot quicker, up to 6 weeks, as opposed to 6 months. All this has to do with the supply chain and chips, being able to get chips.
Okay, get used to it. Gotta ask questions to go, but I ain't got enough sense to keep up with you. Now, what about, you say, right now, the Vista cameras is so in-depth, you don't know what the turnaround is. When are they're not making them anymore?
He wouldn't tell me they were not making them. They still have them on their website as a product that they offer.
Have they put out anything about saying when they plan on dropping service on them?
No, they have not.
Okay.
So that's what we currently have with body cameras. We've got 28 that work, well, 30 if you count the 2 spares.
Well, for all practical intentions, we'll count 30 working.
Yes, we have 2 transfer stations. This is where you can bring the body camera in, put it in this docking station. It charges it and it transfers video.
So you physically have to go in and put it in the docking station.
If you need a good charge, you've been running a lot of traffic, you've got a lot of video. Some point, if you come up here, just drop it in there. It will charge in the car also.
Well, would it upload without putting it in the docking station?
It will upload when you pull up, it hits a wireless access point
Okay.
and it will upload. Yeah. This is
You
just,
get within the range of that receiver.
yes, and
Yeah.
there's 2 access points up here. For the longest time, we only had 1, but we found out at shift change, it was just overloading the system. So we added an additional. There's one at the substation, which is really not in use right now.
I was gonna ask you, why would they not be one? Because isn't that where a lot of investigations are or something?
And
I would think that would help cut down on the overloading here. But you say it's not used, it's not functional or it's not used?
it's functional and it can be used. The
But-
current version of the software leaves orphan files. So if, say Lieutenant Feds pulls up at the substation, it starts uploading video, which it does. He gets a call, he has to leave. He ends up here, he pulls up, it picks back up, and it starts uploading files.
So they're split.
We're split, and sometimes the ones that started uploading at the substation will not sync up. It's a software issue. The next iteration of the software fixed that problem. We haven't moved to that yet because kind of waiting to see what we're gonna do. But that next software is included.
How does it combine, would it combine the data that's loaded at the substation with the ones here to make it a complete file?
And they sync up,
And
yes,
they sync up?
they sync up.
You know,
It's,
I know enough to be dangerous, meaning it syncs up as though it's one file. It doesn't look like it's been messed with.
correct.
They're like, oh, wait a minute here, they cut and spliced it.
Well, definitely, none of this looks like that happened.
Okay.
So the proposed inventory, which was the quote that y'all have, is for 60 new body cameras. If we do this video as a service, these cameras are refreshed at the end of year 3. And they only offer video as a service with a 5-year plan.
Say that again now, what are you saying that,
The video as a service, which is the quote that y'all have,
right?
is only offered for a 5-year plan. They do not offer it as a 3-year, it's 5 or nothing.
Why was the original for 3 years then?
It-
Our program, we budgeted for a 3-year plan. And then we hit with a 5-year.
What I sent over was the 5-year plan that was $561,000. I never sent a 3-year plan over.
We got one for $352,500 for a 3-year plan.
That did not come from me.
Nancy, are you online?
I am. Yes. Could you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
where did we get the 3-year 351 number? Cause we're sitting here talking today. Do you hear what's going on in here?
I do hear. He's correct. I don't know what Commissioner Brandt is referring to for a 3-year plan. I've only seen the 5-year plans.
Well, we're referring to.
I know during our budget process, we had approved $350,000, which would cover the first 3 years of the plan only.
But it's a 5-year plan, so what happened to the last 2 years is what I'm trying to understand.
Well, we funded the first 3 years for ARPA, and the final 2 years were to be determined.
Okay, because we can only go out 3 years on ARPA.
Correct. It has to be spent by a certain date.
Point being is that we had the 5-year plan for the
For the 5-year video as a
5
service.
years, 560
It
something.
started out at 561 and some change,
And what is it now?
581 and some change.
What happened?
$581,765. $581,765 is what I got here.
That's correct.
Why, that's between the budget and now?
The initial proposal was for 52 body cameras. At some point, I was told we needed 60. So the thought was, leave the proposal alone, 52 brand new ones, use 8.
Okay, so the 20 difference is to pick up the 8. Is the other 8.
Yes, but let me go into a little more detail on it. First thought was, take 8 of the Vistas we still have that are working. How much will it cost to change the license to make those Vistas upload to the cloud rather than on site? It's a nightmare. If you've got your stuff going to the cloud, a lot of it on site, that's going to be a problem later on.
You can't have that.
And
You might understand that.
it was, I want to say $12,000 to change the license, which would have left us with 8 body cameras uploading to the cloud. it was $20,000 to get 8 additional new model body cams that uploaded to.
So I'm back to get the 8 more, it's the extra 20.
Yes.
You just telling me why.
Okay.
The option was to keep just stay with the 52, to go to 60. To go to 60, we got to pick up 8 new ones because the other ones, the cost to convert them over, and we still got 8 old cameras that are in the original
Yes.
Vista system.
That is
And there's
correct.
gonna be some glitches.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So but Nancy, I think we were presented with originally the 561, correct? And we funded the first 3 years of it through ARPA.
We definitely funded the first 3 years through ARPA, which was 350,000. I can't confirm the 561. I'm sure it's correct, but I don't have their original quote in front of me.
And I think you have the final one that I have, Nancy, for the 581. I'm pretty sure you have that also.
Well, I don't want to confuse things further, but there were 2 quotes for 581, and the distribution over the 5 years was a little bit different. Like, you had sent me one a couple weeks ago, and then Debbie had sent one over with the requisition. And just, it wasn't even a major amount. It's just the distribution over that 5 years was just slightly different between the 2, but they both totaled $581,000.
Which was the correction?
The one in front of you.
Is that the one that you sent over or Debbie sent over?
I sent this. They had a Motorola change their software for quoting, and the total was correct, but if you went and added up each individual item, it was not correct. But this, that you have in front of you that says final quote, that's the
I have
final.
in front of me, that he's handed me now?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you'd already handed.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now we're going to, it's the same number that Debbie's got on hers, but apparently the payment schedule is a little bit different.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
It's the total's the same.
Year 1, year 2, year 3 on yours. So yours is the payment schedule.
Yes,
Apparently what Nancy's saying, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nancy, you're saying the one Debbie had a little different yearly fee.
Correct. Same grand total.
Okay, all right, but this is the real one.
yes.
All right, so we ain't worried about what Debbie is, so we'll make sure we're dealing with the one that's the final answer. Okay,
So that's where we are on, we currently have what we would like to have. Now,
right to have or need to have? Use a bad
we've
word.
got 28, so every person does not have a body cam.
I understand, but we're talking about going to
We-
60. Now, the 28 that we have that are currently working, what happens to those?
They're gonna get phased out.
Get phased out?
As
As
in,
the 60 come in?
yes,
We
as
gonna
the
have,
60 come in, and do not foresee the 60 coming in one shipment. I'd say they're gonna probably trickle in 5 to 10 at a time. And we will start by officers that currently do not have a body camera. They'll get one.
want to bet?
They should get one.
No. It's hierarchy. Come on, dang, get rid of it. That's like truck drivers. So when you pull in with a new Mac, the oldest driver says, that's my truck, you take the old one.
That's gonna be above me how they get
Exactly.
distributed.
Okay, now you get back to real. But ain't your problem how they divvy it up, but it's gonna be divvied up at some time.
Yes, and at the point that we have all 60, the Vistas, we'll take them up.
So you're going to implement those as they come in, is what I'm
That
saying.
is correct.
Now, you're just sitting here telling me that there's gonna be a little bit of glitches in the Vista and the old, or we gonna be having interim problems?
No. Why we not have interim problems? And because that video that's still being recorded on the Vistas, it will still be stored on premise. And once the last of all the Vistas go away, migrate that to the cloud.
And all the mega data, the searchable data that is, the file stays with them.
That, at the end of the day, with a subscription service, what we own is the video. And
On the Vistas.
on any of it. Video, the Vistas, the new body cameras, And that was the one biggest concern that I had with going to the cloud. Say this comes
At
together
the end of the day, on this new one,
on anything that goes to the cloud, but especially
now,
this
the
kind of
ones
stuff.
we got, we own the video and the metadata.
We own everything and the body cameras and the car cameras. We own it. It's stored on site.
All right, on this new one, at the end of the day, do we own the body camera?
We do not. There was some miscommunication there because I know when I talked to you last
You
week,
did.
told you that we own them.
Yeah, you did.
And I talked to Lieutenant Fed and Cheney and I said, at the end of the day, do we own these body cameras?
Yes, whatever.
And everybody said, yes, we own them. And I said, no, we do not. I did some more digging, but I was led to believe, or there was miscommunication at one point, that we did own them.
One of the things that we were trying to determine, at the end of the day, what is ours?
The video,
So all right, so it's the video.
yes.
So as long as we stay in subscription with Motorola and the iCloud, we have access to the metadata.
Yes.
So,
At the end-
so basically what we're kind of doing here is we're unequivocally locking ourselves into Motorola and the cloud.
Well, no, at the end of year 5, if
Yeah.
we're not happy with the way their service is performed, I have 180 days to pull the video with all the metadata tags still attached on site. And that was my biggest concern when I started talking to anybody about going to the
Well,
cloud with
I
video.
agree.
Because, and it wasn't WatchGuard, it was another one of the other largest player in body cams and car cams,
Who was that?
Axiom. There was some litigation because they returned video to an agency.
Without the metadata.
It was, you got thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of video,
With a giant truckload of pictures, say, here they are, you sort of
but
have.
there was no way to search it.
Exactly.
You couldn't search it by date, you couldn't search it by officer badge number, you couldn't search it
So
by
if you
anything.
lost that lawsuit and they had to provide.
I would assume they lost that
Well,
lawsuit.
let's don't assume.
But that's not the issue here. This is our video. The metadata is ours. Everything's ours. 180 days. If we part ways,
Well,
I got to pull it back.
have we looked at Axiom?
No,
Why?
we're so far with car cameras, with WatchGuard. We got 70 cars currently that are fitted with car cameras. We're gonna refit 70 cars with a different product.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have to have them all on the same system to work?
You do not have to.
You still got to, but you know, I'm just trying to figure out here.
It's much easier. St. Mary's has separate systems for body cameras and car cameras. So you get an information request. You come to this system, I'm the car camera. You come over here to this system, body camera.
I understand.
Can it be done? It can be done.
But it brings up to me, what's the cost differentiation? You know, we're paying for like we want the top of the line, and I get it, and I'm just trying to understand what would be the cost. We don't know what the cost differential if we talk with Axiom.
They're going to be very similar costs. They offer pretty much the same bells and whistles. They push the cloud service really big. And I would tell you within the next few years, I don't know that you're going to be able to get premise storage.
On who?
On-premise storage.
I get it.
It's all going to the cloud and it's all going to subscription. Microsoft, for
It's a
example.
problem for everything and related to electronics. I get it.
Yes,
I mean,
it
I
is.
do have the same thing in my office. I mean,
So the way the system works, that they pull up, it uploads to WatchGuard server. It sits on this server for an amount of time, which kind of depends on what video's labeled. Some video drops off quicker, some stays forever. From the
Why would something stay on the server forever?
retention records for the state of Georgia.
But wouldn't it still be considered satisfying that rule on the cloud?
Definitely, it went on the
So
cloud.
why would we not put it on the cloud to free up the server?
That's what, yeah, I would love to do that.
You said some would stay on the server.
No, as it stands right now, when you pull up, upload, it hits a WatchGuard server. It sits on that server. After X amount of time, it moves to a storage system. Still on premise. That's how it's currently done.
Okay, that's how we currently have it. Okay, I
Yes.
got you.
Now, when you look at
You may have some current cases going that you say, no, we're gonna keep it on the server, so it's more accessible.
and some stuff that gets labeled unknown, or it's just a traffic citation, it's a retention policy, those fall off after, say, 6 months. I think arson has to be kept forever. But right now, we have 24.7 terabytes on the server. We have, you might as well say 35 terabytes on the storage system. So you're looking at 60 terabytes of information stored over there on site. That's a lot of information. I'm not real concerned because we've got 25 terabytes that are carved out, allocated for video only.
Now, of that 24 and 35, how much is being utilized?
I've got an additional 25 that's still available right now.
So you actually got 85.
Yes,
So you got 24, so you got more than the 24 to 35. You got another 20.
I got another 25 that's sitting there to allow for storage. Here's the issue. We're currently storing video, and 28 body cam videos. When you jump that number of body cams, 28
I got you.
to 60, well, the storage is gonna start going up.
How much of that 24, how much of that 85 are we, how much is free?
25.
So so
I have 25 terabytes free.
so the 24 to 35 basically are full.
Yeah, that's currently what's being used right now.
Okay.
I've still got overhead for 25. Like I say, you're gonna double the amount of body cameras, so that storage space is gonna start to get eat up quick.
How much cloud storage we get?
Unlimited,
Unlimited,
unlimited.
until it's limited, but unlimited.
I mean, it's an unlimited cloud storage. So
Let me ask you just out of curiosity. Keeping this kind of storage, would we need any of that type of storage prospectively going forward if we switched over to the
to the cloud,
WatchGuard or iCloud or whatever?
this storage will be freed up. That won't happen over.
What is that storage costing us to have that much? But you would have some, you're gonna have I would imagine, a substantial amount. The server, dang it, stupid thing, on the server here, just to hold in temporary, then it gets transferred to the cloud, or does it go straight to the cloud?
No, it stays on the server for X amount of time, that usually about a month. That way you can retrieve those records quicker because it's sitting right here local.
Okay,
And then it trickles up to the cloud. It doesn't go all at once because if it did, it would kill the bandwidth. So it moves up,
over time,
yes, over time.
okay.
And at some point, what we currently have stored would be stored in the cloud.
I was about to ask you,
So you need a backup.
so what we have here on site now, are we gonna be able to load it in that unlimited?
That's in this proposal, yes.
So that's a yes.
That is a yes.
So then we won't need that storage here.
That storage can be repurposed for other things. We should not have to come over here and ask for money for storage for a few years.
Don't set yourself up for that.
Now, something could,
Your buddy's done that much damn storage.
something could
You can learn
totally crash. And and that's actually a B5020, that's the storage system. We put that in 2016. The end of life on that is 2020.
I know.
They have not yet announced the end of service life. That's the thing that's important, because once they announce the end of service life, you can't get a contract to keep it under warranty. Before 5 years is up, IBM's gonna announce an end of service life on that storage system. Now, when,
Trust me, I understand. I had a big old Dell server that lasted almost 15 years. I had already replaced it and had a new server, and I was keeping the programs on the old one and the data on the new one. And so in the middle, one day I was getting ready to transfer everything. I had crapped out and had to transfer anyway, but it should have crapped out 10 years earlier.
sure,
I understand.
so trying to get us ahead of the curve for storage.
I understand.
So
That's
that's,
the problem.
now, the proposed cloud storage, I pretty well just went through it. They pull up, it goes through the wireless access point. It sits on a new server that is in this proposal that they provide. It sits there for however long we determine it needs to sit there in the configuration process, and then it starts moving up to the cloud.
It brings up a question to me in that, now, everything's pretty much what you're telling me predominantly, except what you want to keep. You know, the current stuff,
Right.
if you got home, you want to sit in there where it's just right there on your server.
Yes.
But is it also in the cloud backed up?
No, it will just be sitting
So there ain't.
on the server. It can be replicated.
On one of
We can
these,
carve out.
would you want to?
That's a very good possibility that we will.
Would that be a good practice?
Yes. That would be a good practice. Of
Yeah, I mean, I have mirror imaging files, you know, servers as well.
yes.
So one of these other,
We can take part of that 25 terabytes and carve out 8 or 10 terabytes
it
to
mirrors
replicate.
whatever you got here.
Yes,
Because
correct.
whatever's over here is not in the cloud.
That is correct. It hasn't moved to the cloud yet.
Probably a good idea. But anyway, moving forward, let me ask you this. If you're on one of these 4 requests, how accessible is that cloud? If you go to search and say, okay, I want to find out about Ben Casey, case number so-and-so, and have you got, hey, you're in there. Do you go to the, does it go to the server? Can you do that with relatively ease, or have you
Yes,
got?
it's pretty much like we do now.
But
You sit down, you bring up, they call it the evidence library. You go to the date that you're looking for. You go to the officer's badge number that you're looking for. You can narrow it down to the time frame, and it pulls up all the videos that fall within that time frame. You pull them down to a disk.
so you got the same search capacity
Yes,
in the cloud that you have.
that is correct.
So what's so good about having it here?
At the time that we put all this in, cloud storage
Yeah.
was astronomical in cost.
What? No, I mean, you know, I'm talking about prospectively, you're talking about keeping a good bit on the server here. That doesn't go to the cloud.
We
Just
would
for ease
probably,
of access.
keep a maybe 2 or 3 months.
I'm just saying, if it's as easy to access on the cloud as it is here, why not have it all on the cloud?
It's not just because it won't all move up there immediately. It's gonna probably, once we get everything up there,
I understand. Now, I grant you, you're gonna do it. You got a backlog.
yes.
And it's gonna be spread out over a period of time. And, you know, during non-peak times, it's just gonna be steady flowing up there, steady coming off the
Yes.
server. And let's just say we get it all up there and we get current.
And even at the point that we're current, it's still not gonna transfer all in one day. It's still gonna be probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You're looking at a pile of information.
Understand? If that's the case, how will it ever get all up there? We'll always have to have a big pile of storage here.
There will always be a little bit on site. And I say a little bit, that's relative to your total amount.
Well, I'm just thinking, will it transfer as much in the course of a day as we'll put on in a day? If it don't, we're not gonna be able to get it all up there ever.
And that depends on how much you put on there in a day. I mean, I'm not trying to give you a smart answer, but
Just trying to
you take the wreck that happened, what, a couple of months ago at exit 1 with everybody was there, there's no way that amount of video would go up in one day.
That's an exception.
Right. On a and I really don't have an answer to that till I see it in process.
Just on the average, you took over the course of a time period of a month or 2 months or 6 months or whatever, and we're collecting 10 a day coming in, but our maximum upload is 8.
I don't think you'll have a problem with 10 a day.
Of data here. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I don't think it's gonna do at least 10 a day, I would say, with no problem. And you've got a lot of other factors to figure in. What else is going on at the sheriff's office?
I get
Need
it.
enough bandwidth.
I'm just looking at things perspective, so. But I know that y'all come back up here and y'all picking on them.
I would have
back
to,
today.
I would have to agree with you that you pick a date that we're no longer using this. There's gonna be some amount of storage still on site because it hadn't had enough time to go to the cloud.
And I get it, it's gonna try.
I mean, that's just right.
And I understand there being some, I just didn't know how much it could accumulate over a period of time.
If we're able to do this, we get everything configured, let it,
According to what you're telling me, we gotta transfer about 60 now.
yes.
Terabytes.
And
We got an
what,
inventory of 60, we gotta get out there, and as we go on, and it's gonna get being added to.
that is correct.
And then we're gonna be putting on, we're looking at putting on the watch cars, and they're gonna be laden up.
That is correct.
You gotta keep up with it current and do the backlog.
And once all the backlog gets up
That's
and
what
we
I'm
can
saying.
sit there and monitor, we can go in and tweak configuration as to how much we feel we need to keep on site as opposed to let it go to the cloud.
I get the convenience of it there, maybe less login or less whatever. Okay.
What else? The additional information was some questions that, you talked to me and we're not on the cameras. You asked if it would work on the radio system. The camera, the body camera will function as a body camera. It doesn't matter. If you have a Motorola portable and you hit the emergency button on the portable radio, it turns on the body camera.
I guess there's some automatic features, but
There's some automatic features, but
you don't think that an Axiom could program when you hit the emergency, it would turn on
that's proprietary. As far as, I went down that road with the guy, and that has to be a Motorola camera to trigger the camera when you enable the emergency button
on the radio.
on the radio. And to me, that's an added bonus.
I get it. I mean,
So-
you're in an emergency situation, like, oh damn, I gotta hit A, B, C, D. It's too late.
Well, I know if it's me and I got a choice, I can either hit the emergency button or I can make sure my body camera's on. Probably hitting the emergency
That's what
button.
I'm saying.
So
Would the watch guard work with other radio manufacturers?
that feature that I just talked about will not.
Okay, is that the only feature?
Like I say, it's a body camera. I mean, it's gonna record the video. It's
Just
kind of like,
turn on automatically.
well, it's kind of like saying, do you have Sirius XM in your car? If I subscribe to it, I do, but if I don't subscribe to it, my car still functions
I
like,
understand, but you have Sirius XM. Here, when you got a watch guard camera system, it's recording, it doesn't matter whether you got Motorola or Acme.
that is correct.
And I guess the main difference is WatchGuard is a Motorola product now. And of course, naturally, it's gonna sync with their Motorola proprietary cameras a little sweeter,
You get some added benefits.
which is one of the major selling points. And I guess my real question boils down to how much are we paying for them couple of added features on there, just out of curiosity, but we don't know. Because we're not comparing it to anything else.
That is correct.
I mean, I would like to see that just, but, I mean, if it's a nominal difference, I mean, I know how, I deal with proprietary stuff and I know how proud they are of it. And sometimes you want it because you want what it has. That's the whole point of it.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't need, I don't know, but I'm just a little curious if we looked at Axiom or whoever else there is, I don't even know.
That's the other big player that has the
Why
majority of
would we
the.
just send them an RFP just to see what they say?
I mean, I'm fine with that,
Me too.
but now, when we do
Out
that,
of our policy to look at,
we're gonna look at replacing these 70 RE cameras in the cars.
well, now, keep in mind, what you telling me is they're a little bit different. You can look over here on the camera system. Again, it's a little more in sync when you can do it in one system,
That is correct, yes.
but you still you can still access.
You could still access it, yes.
You just, instead of searching once, you gotta search twice.
Yes.
I get it, and I get it, that's kind of like when you hit the emergency, that's just a bell and a whistle. And we want to see how valuable how valuable they think those bells and whistles, and look at it and see if we agree with it. The price is on. I don't know.
I got a question. You're gonna have to walk me down it, all right? So, I'm still going back to the upload like the cars, because I know, the guys, it'd be great for them just to pull up or they're next to something, and that's one less thing if they're trying to do paperwork or something.
Yes.
So the motor, I'm just gonna call it Motorola. When the
Okay, that's
Motorola
fine.
bunch, it does it all. In other words, we don't have to, they go up, it downloads. Can the other one do the same thing, or is it gonna?
Yeah,
They pretty much all do the same basic. They all
We don't
can
have
all upload.
My question is more like this: are we gonna have to change anything or buy anything else?
So there would have to be some changes made, yes.
but as far as uploading the data, those receivers have a range. When you pull, say it's 100 feet, 150 feet, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, like Wi-Fi, anything else, the closer, the better signal, the faster it may transfer. Just like you just said, 10 pulling there at one time, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
And we will have, so we do, let's say Motorola winds up, that's Motorola, because I see try to keep it one stop shop,
Right.
everything's the same. But can you pull up, the one we said at the substation? Will that work again? Will it work right then, once we go in this new stuff?
If we move to this proposal here,
Yeah,
it loads their latest version of the software, which fixed that bug where it was leaving orphan files.
mhm.
Yes, that will. the
But in this
substation will work.
proposal, we're only showing 2 access points. Isn't it?
The access points will be the same.
If you go to the Axon product, you can find access.
Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that.
That's what I was trying to get. It's not, I mean, you're going to have to do some more work to swap and get everything.
Yes, there would be some more work to be done.
The thing of it is, what I'm trying to look at, and I get Motorola, I get it. I only bought Dell servers for 20 years. I get it. I don't now, but I get it. But the point is, at the end of 5 years, we have spent almost $600,000. We're on doodly squat. So what we're looking at here to maintain this inventory of just, this is giving us use of how many body cameras? 60?
No,
No cars in this proposal, is there?
Oh, yeah, 70 car cameras.
Okay.
that's the,
Oh, I'm trying to look where I saw it.
that's the upload of the video. It's not 70 new car cameras. It's moving that camera storage to the cloud.
70 car cameras, $126,291.20. Your direct quote from sheriff's office over here. That's the purchase order.
That's what I was trying to.
Miss,
I'm trying to
I
find
read it
it.
as it was the storage for the cars.
This says car cameras on the purchase order. 60 body cameras
Must be.
with charge upload dock and 70 car cameras with transfer station video as a service.
The
Uploaded.
126, 291,
Mhm.
that is quantity of 70 additional user Command Central Evidence Plus subscription. Is that what yours says?
But that ain't,
No, it says 70 car cameras, $126,291. I'm looking at your purchase order from the sheriff's office.
that's the one from Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've got the same amount.
That's, but, I mean, is it cameras or not?
No, it is not cameras.
Okay,
It is the-
what we gonna do about these 70 cameras? That's under the old system.
This is changing those licenses out so they will upload to the cloud. Still have 70 cameras. We still own those cameras.
But now, what about the life cycle? How long are they gonna, are we gonna be in here next year saying, we got about 35 of them?
As new cars are ordered, are being outfitted
I understand.
with the new camera system, which has the license.
Cars, it won't take long, but nonetheless.
And it has the license to upload to the cloud.
The new cars, are they going with the 4RE or the M500 camera?
M500.
M500
Yeah.
camera. So those will have the ability to read car tags? Or is that extra bell and whistle?
That is an extra bell and whistle. They do have that ability. I do not think we priced it. I don't think it's that costly, but I would have to check.
Hey, when you got on here, I'm reading this, it says unlimited car storage. 168,308, is that for the cloud or?
That's for the cloud.
So that's what it's costing us for the cloud for the
That's-
5-year period.
Yes.
So the other one was just for the license?
That's the
To be able to
swap.
get to the cloud?
Yeah,
What a racket.
yeah.
Yes. That I will not argue.
And the reason I got a 3-year plan a while ago, it clearly, when the information was given to me, it was budgeted for a 3-year. That's what it said.
I,
I found out it's budgeted for 5, but the extra money wasn't budgeted in there. We only budgeted for the 3 years. So that's where the difference came in.
and I don't know where the 3-year plan came from because
It just says 3 years is budgeted to what?
I think based on, and Nancy, you correct me, I think when you were looking at original 561, you were looking at the subscription rate per year and said, we're gonna do 3 years of it. Because we can go out 3 years. Is that fair?
That's correct. Yes, we knew it was 5 years, but we could only fund 3 years through ARPA.
We just
That's
didn't
where I got
realize.
3 years. It said budgeted for 3
I
years.
know.
A 3-year
Yeah.
plan. That's where it's
Understand.
3 years right here. Okay.
But we did that to ourselves. I get it.
So what's the life expectancy on the older 4RE cameras in the cars?
make a guess.
We've been seeing as soon as the cars end the life. And the time cars end the life is when car came.
Yeah, we're actually, when we're doing, I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
I'll go with,
So actually what we're doing is like all these new vehicles we just bought, every one of them's coming in equipped with new cameras. Well, I mean, we're not,
Yes.
okay, we're not, yeah. And
We're not gonna be behind in camera, my point, or car camera.
yeah, the car cameras with all this, with all the ones that's rolling in, the car cameras ought to be good.
And they are outfitted with a license for cloud storage.
Okay.
now getting back to the body cameras, we were talking earlier, we're talking about maybe using some of those in the jail. You could take some of the older cameras that doesn't necessarily need to be tied to the cloud and use in the jail until they die.
And Yes, and there, I mean, you're not gonna have nearly as much video coming out of the jail
Right.
as you do off patrol. So is that a big deal to have that video on
Use
premise?
body cameras in the jail?
Me?
Are there body cameras in the jail?
There are not currently, but I would like to put them access to the jail so that in the event when we have the fights and confrontations, that the supervisor can grab it and attach it as they go in.
So I mean, how many cameras you talking about for being for the jail?
I'd like to have at least 4 of them. That way there'll be 2 up front, 2 in the back.
Yeah, they could use the old ones that are being phased out for that until they
Right.
And
die.
that can stay stored on premise, and will it be a little more of a pain? Yes. Are you looking at the amount of video that patrol generates? No.
No.
And usually with the jail, you can kind of run through that video pretty quick and see if there's anything that's going on that you need to keep, and if not, urgent, get rid of it. So you're not going to be sitting there on 8 or 10 terabytes of jail video storage, because you can get rid of it fairly quickly.
Let me ask you something. In prospectively, as in year 6,
What happens?
we're out of subscription. We own no cameras. We got doodly squat.
At the end of year 6, we part ways. If we're not happy with them, I got 180 days to pull our video back down on storage. We're happy with their service. Everything's worked as it should. Whenever something breaks, they fix it. We can enter into another agreement.
I'll say like here, like in year 1, we got the upfront cost of 123, and I know you can't prognosticate what the prices are gonna be in 6, but we're looking at 100. I think it's safe to say it's not gonna be cheaper.
Typically, he told me 7 to 10%
7 to 10%
increase
after.
after we're moving into another contract. Now, I'm not gonna get locked into it. That's what he told me. The biggest thing right now that's driving prices is trying to acquire the chips that goes into this equipment.
Of which 80% are made in Taiwan. I think it's a deal there.
And I mean, this is a Motorola rep talking, so it was rain salt.
All the chips in the world, 80% are made in Taiwan.
He said they were paying 8-10 cents COVID for chips when everything shut down, and then when it came back online, they no longer have exclusive contracts with chip manufacturers. They're having to go through a broker to buy chips. He said some of these that were around a dime, they're $100. So.
All right, well, anyway, so I guess what I'm saying, just, because, maybe none of us to be here in that period of time, but just prospectively going, we get into year 5, we're all still in love. Motorola, we're still in the honeymoon phase, and we just want to continue on. And so what they're telling you, now after 3 years, what you're telling me here is they're gonna do a refresh on all the body cameras.
All the body cameras.
All right. If we continued on into year 6, would the end of year 6 be another refresh period?
I don't know if it would be the end of year 6, but there
That'd be
would
the
be,
second 3-year period.
there would be another refresh period. And
Maybe we need to ask kind of how that works. Or they say, well, no, we refreshed you after 3, but.
and I follow you, so following that logic, at the end of year 6, we get new body cameras. But I can get an
Paying
answer.
extra of that, right in this.
Pardon
Is that in this subscription price that we're paying?
In year 3,
Yes.
yes, that is in here.
So that's included.
Yes.
So my point is, at the end of year 6, whatever the price is, it should be included. So we're perpetually upgrading, getting new body cameras, which would eliminate having a bunch of old dead ones or not working ones or beat up ones or whatever. So
That is
basically,
correct. The only, I can see them saying at the end of year 5, we sign an additional 5-year contract, and then they would refresh year 3 in that contract. I don't know, but I will get an answer to
Makes
that.
no sense.
I understand just what you're
That's what I'm
saying.
saying. I think That's a question we need to know now.
I will get an answer to that
Because
tomorrow.
right now, they're going to have to say, yeah, at the end of your six,
Yes,
we'll get back with you.
I can get that answer tomorrow.
Okay?
The cameras we have in the cars, we own those, right?
Yes.
We did.
So at the end of this contract, if we go with somebody else, will those cameras work with the other company? Probably not.
They will not.
So
What
so
cameras?
that's the car cameras.
So that's the other problem you got. You know, you kind of stuck with Motorola with the car cameras, right?
Yes, I would agree.
Short answer works, yes. And like Ben said, we want to change and we're buying, I don't know how many cars, 70, 80 car cameras at one time, or we're on some lease plan like this. I'm just kind of looking at it from a cash flow sense over a period of time, trying so where it can be budgeted, you know?
The good thing about this 5-year proposal is you know what the cost is each 5 years.
So they say.
The good thing is you don't own the cameras because you keep a refresh camera. The bad thing is you don't own the cameras.
The other bad thing is we know what the cost is.
Yeah, yes.
All right. Anybody else? I'm assuming that, we don't have to worry about hardware or software obsolescence.
No, this, as far as the body cameras go, we stayed with them for 5
So
years.
like you stated, the only contract they do is 5, not 3.
Pardon me?
The only contract period they will do is a 5-year.
That is correct. They will not do a 3-year on a subscription service. It has to be 5.
And I'm assuming that what we do at the end of the 3-year period, and they're refreshing our cameras, we give them the camera, they give us refreshed,
Yes. And I asked,
without cameras.
I said, what is a refreshed camera?
Yeah.
And it is a brand new body camera of the same caliber and features that we currently have. He said, now, if we come out with a, new body camera that's got all these other additional features,
Guess what?
you're gonna get a camera that's comparable to what you have. But it will be a brand new camera. It's not a refurbished unit. It's a
Well, that's the
camera.
hook it is, 5 years. But we've had several upgrades now, and this one here, you can talk to mom in heaven with it. There'll be new features that you don't gonna have to have.
And
Which is, we
I
understand.
don't have an issue with talking to them and say, hey, look, this refresh, in order to push this through, well, this needs to be the latest and greatest. It don't need to be comparable to what we currently have. It
No,
needs
we
to be
don't,
latest
we
and
don't
greatest.
need something that's going to be obsolete. That's the other
Correct.
problem. If they're giving us the exact same models and brands, it is moving its way into obsolescence.
I agree.
It needs to be refreshed with the latest software
Yes,
that still interfaces without interruption with the others.
correct.
Who provides the service?
WatchGuard.
Who provides the service and support for WatchGuard?
It will be through Motorola now.
That would be out of,
Well, it used to be Hasties in Brunswick.
Hastings does a lot with I know the car cams, the big cameras are usually sent off.
Jack, excuse me, go ahead.
go ahead, buddy.
No, I just wanted to ask here because it says that, replacement cameras will be refurbished units. It does not say there will be new cameras. It says refurbished. You said that it would be a brand new camera equivalent to what you got.
I think that's what he said he was going to say.
The current cameras, the current Vista cameras, refurbished. The 300 cameras under their proposal, they are not refurbished. They are brand new cameras at the end of 3 years.
And you're going to speak to them about it having The upgraded.
Yes. Well, how that'll go over, don't know, but I don't have any problem at all addressing that.
According to, Motorola's literature on the video as service, it's a 5-year no-fault hardware warranty, advanced hardware replacement, which is new body worn cameras with the batteries.
That's at the end of the 3 years.
3 years.
Yes. And if one gets dropped, broken, quits
Is that the
working,
camera and the vest that goes in, or is it just the camera?
it's the camera, the battery, and I would probably the mag mount that attaches
But
it
not
to
the
your
vest
unit.
itself, just the.
No, that's totally separate to this.
All right, well, it brings me back to, I would still like to see an RFP from Vista spec out, just like we're specing out with here, just for comparative.
For iPhone.
Right.
Okay, so, and so we don't muddy the waters, just 60 body cams with cloud storage. I can't really compare apples to apples because this has the 70 car cameras with cloud storage.
Yeah.
But we could do 60 body cameras
Let's do
with
that.
cloud
We can
storage.
pull out the 70 body camera, 70 car camera storage stuff.
Yes, and then we can compare their 60 body cams and these
So we
60.
wouldn't be, we're not looking at changing the car cameras anyway, we're just looking at changing the storage of it. But would not Axiom be able to store the data off the off car cameras?
I would think not, because you're back to proprietary.
And if we ask it, we don't have to pull it out. So we've got 70 cameras of this type. Can y'all cloud storage that as well? Then it
Yeah.
samples it out.
Right. If the answer is no, they can't do it, we'll just leave it with 60 body cameras and
I'm
see.
going to bet you $1 to the donut they know how to do it. Maybe not.
They may know how to do it, but I would
They
tell
didn't
you
use
that
the
would
big
be a
AR for not
premium.
being able to deal with their competition. And that's the whole point of it. Can you do that?
I can get that ball rolling and see what they say.
All right, get an RFP from them. Let's just see what it looks like. Hey, aren't you a little bit curious?
It's gonna be pretty well. Just from the conferences I've attended and I've listened to different chiefs and different sheriffs, it's roll the dice because it's about the same price. Their big gripe is they're pushing me away from storing stuff on site. They're making me go to the cloud.
I don't know if they are. I just think the cost of on-site storage and reliability is part of the problem. And of course, they also want to sell you the store, lease you the storage space. You're paying for that storage.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
No doubt.
Move your information to the cloud. Is that cloud backed up in any way?
They replicate that cloud.
Yeah.
yeah, they, that's their problem, but
Well-
Exactly.
until it becomes, well, we missed that day, it's your problem now.
Yeah.
See what you can find out, Dane. I mean, I think we should be able to get something from them. And it shouldn't take them too long because you got it all spec'd out. They look at this right here, blot out the prices, they give me what's comparable. Let's do it. See what
I
they say.
will get on that tomorrow.
Anybody else got anything for Mr. Dane? Or anybody else? Good. Anything else? That's it. Oh, we're gonna do the record one of this one?
Yep.
Well, right. Now, just quickly speaking with the sheriff, he's pulled up our existing, record policy. That's Circia 1979. And it appears to be at the end of the, Jimmy, Middleton era, leading into the Bill era. And understanding how things operate sometimes, moving it from the sheriff to basically to the Board of Commissioners policy could be who knows what motivated. Moving forward to now, as a practical matter, I personally don't see where the Board of Commissioners need to be. I mean, that's not something we're in oversight of, and it puts the onus somewhat on our esteemed commissioner's clerk, and she don't want it, and she has nothing to do with it. We don't know who's getting towed and where they're getting towed, what's getting towed, and, you know, we have absolutely no way of answering for requests to start with on it. And, you know, and of course, if it's with the sheriff's office, generally the person that's on the side of the road, it'd be one of the patrol deputies or whatever, and they're calling one of the records on rotation or whatever the heck the ones are approved, and then it's their problem, and they're the ones who keeping up with it now, supposedly. Does anybody have any issue with abandoning the county record policy and the sheriff, you know, in his brief discussion with him, he has basically followed the record policy of the state patrol and other agencies and tried to emulate that, for reasons being that it has been sued and tried and tested and it's withstood. So, does anybody got any questions concerning all that stuff for the sheriff?
I read the policy when it was sent over originally, and it's like we're following the guidelines of the state, just like you said it was.
Right.
You might want to get the county lawyer to look at it, but other than that, I don't have a problem with it.
Still-
John,
Okay.
Mr. Myers,
Yes, sir.
have you had a chance or have you seen the Camden County Sheriff's Office record policy?
I have.
And what is your thoughts?
Well, if it's a desired change by the sheriff, it's up to him to set his own policy. As you've noted, we've had the existing policy in place for quite a while, and it does put quite a bit of responsibility back on the county clerk, and it should be something internal to the sheriff's office.
So I gather you don't see any issues in going to the sheriff's record policy then?
I do not.
Thank you, sir.
I'll move forward. I'll move forward with the advertising to delete them.
Well, we ain't done it yet. Don't get ahead of yourself, girlfriend. We may not do it, I might just want to string you out at least to the end of the year. It's the fun. Does anybody else have anything? All right, let's quit. We ain't got but 15 minutes to the next part.
I think we had that took tonight.